If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless marine chart plotter listings, weighing specs, and still feel a little stuck about which screen actually makes sense for your boat, you're not alone. I've been there, staring at product pages, trying to translate a mountain of numbers into something that will actually help me get from dock to deeper water without a second guess. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review I'll walk through what the Garmin GPSMAP 943xsv really does when you hook it up to your rig, where it shines, and where it might leave you wishing for something else. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have is whether they are overpaying for a unit that sounds like a Swiss Army knife, but ends up being a collection of features you'll never use. The GPSMAP 943xsv is marketed as an all-in-one navigation hub, a 15-inch touchscreen, built-in sonar, and a GMR 18 HD3 Radome for high-definition radar. Those are impressive headlines, but the question is how they translate to a typical day out on the water. If you're someone who spends most of your time cruising in familiar coastal waters, you might never need the full radar suite, whereas a serious offshore fisherman, or a captain who runs a charter business will lean on those capabilities every tide. Let's start with the integration side, because that's where the Garmin ecosystem really begins to matter. The unit promises easily integrate with more engines and connect to compatible third-party devices with one-helm digital switching. In practice, that means you can hook up your engine data, autopilot, and even a VHF radio, and have them talk to each other without a tangle of separate cables. I've seen it in action on a 38-foot center cockpit where the engine's RPM, fuel flow, and heading feed straight into the chart plotter, letting the pilot see performance metrics while navigating a tight channel. That level of data sharing cuts down on the mental load no more glancing at a separate engine gauge while trying to read a chart. For a boat that already has a mixed bag of sensors, the one-helm interface can be a real time saver, but you do need to make sure your existing devices are on the one-helm compatible list. Older legacy gear may require an adapter or firmware update. Next, the network connectivity. The GPSMAP 943xsv comes with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, plus 2 NMEA 2000 ports and a USB Type-C. That makes it possible to pull live weather data, download new Navionics Plus charts on the fly, or stream video from a GoPro mounted on the bow. In a real-world scenario, I've heard from a few owners who use the Wi-Fi hotspot to push a weather overlay onto the screen while they are anchored off a reef, allowing them to see an approaching squall before the boat's own instruments even register a shift. If you're the type who likes to keep your crew informed with the latest forecast, that connectivity is a genuine plus. The downside is that the network can be a bit finicky when you have multiple devices trying to connect at once. I've seen occasional lag if you're running a radar feed, a video stream, and a weather overlay simultaneously. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you might need to prioritize which data streams are most critical for your outing. Now, onto the navigation core, preloaded Garmin Navionics Plus charts and mapping. The charts are widely regarded as some of the most detailed coastal and inland water charts available, with depth contours, shoreline features, and even points of interest like marinas and fuel docks. When you're plotting a route from a small harbor to an offshore anchorage, those charts let you see depth changes in real time as you steer, which can be a lifesaver in areas with hidden shoals. The interface is touch-driven, so you can plot a course with a few taps and then switch to a follow mode that keeps the boat on that line. For a weekend sailor who likes to explore new bays, the ease of planning on the screen itself removes the need for a separate paper chart or a laptop. The built-in sonar capabilities are another area where the unit delivers on the promise of seeing below. With the GMR 18 HD3 Radome, you get high-definition radar that can pick up small vessels and weather fronts at a greater range than a standard 9-inch unit. Pair that with the sonar, and you have a layered view of both surface and below-surface conditions. A charter captain I spoke with said that the combination of radar and sonar helped him locate a drifting buoy in foggy conditions, something he would have missed with a basic radar alone. However, the radar's power output is limited by regulations, so in heavy rain the return can become a bit noisy. If you're primarily sailing in clear weather or close to shore, you might not notice that limitation, but if you routinely head into rougher seas, you may want a supplemental external radar with higher power. So, who should buy the GPSMAP 943xsv? If you own a mid-size to large vessel, think 30 feet and up, and you already have a suite of Garmin or One Helm compatible devices, this unit is